So part of the difficulty with that question is how you define a crisis. What we do know about our water situation is that based on our current water usage, the level in the Little Agua Frio aquifer is going down about 1 foot per year. What we don't know is exactly how much water is in that aquifer. And so the definition of a crisis depends on the time frame that we're looking at as far as how much water. We're using too much water. That is a defined thing. So at this point, the town says that we need to bring in more water from the Big Chino aquifer through the Big Chino pipeline. We are looking at doing that. I don't know how we're going to pay for that. The estimate 11 years ago was that was going to cost $150 million. Currently, and as recently as last Friday, the town said that that cost hasn't gone up in 11 years. I find that hard to believe. So I'm thinking that it's going to cost more than $150 million, and paying for that is going to be difficult. Prescott, the city of Prescott, is supposed to pay for part of that, but a 2014 study by the Arizona Department of Water Resources said that the aquifers and the water resources between Prescott and Prescott Valley are not as interchangeable as they thought they were. And so Prescott's water situation is better than ours. And so that leaves it up to us to maybe pay for the entire cost of the pipeline. At this point, we're looking at a public-private partnership with an Australian pension company that's supposed to pay for that cost, but that's not been put in writing yet. It's still questionable. And the other way we're going to pay for it is with new growth that hasn't been identified, that is not currently in the pipeline. So I'm concerned about all of that. So one of the first things I want to clear up is seems to be a misconception in the community between no growth and responsible growth. I'm a responsible growth candidate, and that's not the same as a no growth candidate. Responsible growth means not growing in a way that overwhelms our infrastructure, that overtaxes our roads and our sewer and water system. Identifying the water resources that we just talked about, so that when we have growth and we build 3,000 more homes, we actually have water for those homes before we start building them. My initiative and my goal when I get elected to the town council is to preserve the essence of our community. That means looking at the infrastructure, looking at the growth, looking at our natural resources, preserving the pronghorn, preserving our animal wildlife, the long views that we all love. And I'm going to do that primarily by holding the developers responsible for the things that they say and holding them to the promises that they make, and not rubber stamping growth just based on, okay, we need more growth. A good example of that is when they built Viewpoint, the developer promised to build a second egress out of Viewpoint for emergency access in case of fire and things like that. They built all the homes, and then they declared bankruptcy, and they never built that second egress, leaving it to the citizens of Prescott Valley to then either build the road or not build the road, which to this date has not been built, still needs to be built because that's an emergency issue. There's issues like that all along. Jasper has promised to build an alternative to Glassford Hill Road so that the traffic and the congestion on Glassford Hill Road doesn't get too much when they add 3,000 houses. That's a promise that I will hold them to when I'm elected to town council. So when I'm elected town council, I believe that Prescott Valley needs to take the initiative in our area. We need to do the things that I've talked about earlier, improving the essence of our community, not just Prescott Valley, but the entire area. Looking at preserving the dells, looking at preserving the environment and that kind of stuff. As far as Prescott Valley in specific goes, I want to improve our downtown area, the Florentine Road between Windsong and Glassford Hill, increase more citizen amenities, increase more attraction to this area, bring in more development to kind of complement what's happening at Prescott. As an area leader, I think we need to take the initiative in working with our neighbors to develop and identify water resources and water conservation plans. We need to ensure that we preserve our community resources and assets. I think we need to look at an area-wide transportation system. That's another initiative that I would like to preserve. I'm not sure whether or not that's feasible and that kind of stuff, but we need to look at that because there is limited transportation between our area. And I want to improve the quality of life and access to resources and amenities for all of the citizens in this area, including those in Chino Valley, Prescott Valley, and Prescott.